Think that free app is harmless? It's quietly turning your life into currency. Open your phone, count the free apps, games, weather, editors, social feeds. Now ask, how many know where you sleep or who you text? Most free apps don't charge money. They charge data. Every tap, swipe, and pause becomes a signal. That signal gets packaged and traded. This video unpacks that trade, shows the real harms, and gives a concrete plan to regain control. If you aren't paying, you are probably the product. Apps monetize in 4 big ways: showing targeted ads, embedding third-party SDKs, sharing or selling data, and feeding real-time bidding auctions. Each method creates a revenue stream. Each also creates a leak. Understanding these gears turns a vague worry into specific fixes. Next, we'll unspool what each gear actually collects and why it matters for you. Think of your app as a data factory. Every tap, pause, and scroll becomes a signal on a conveyor belt. The conveyor carries device IDs, timestamps, locations, and interest tags. Buyers inspect those bundles in milliseconds and bid. You rarely see the sale, but it happens constantly. Imagine an auction where your daily routine is the merchandise, and that auction runs every time an ad loads. Third-party SDKs are a common blind spot. Developers drop analytics or ad libraries into an app to speed features or monetize. But those libraries often phone home with user data of their own. Sometimes developers don't fully inspect what the SDK sends. That means your location or behavior can leave the app through code the original maker barely controls. Next, we'll look at the auction that multiplies those leaks. Real-time bidding, or RTB, is the auction house. When an app requests an ad, it broadcasts details: app name, approximate location, device ID, and inferred interests to many bidders. Hundreds or thousands can see that packet in milliseconds. Even bidders who don't win may retain or resell the data. The speed makes the process hard to audit, so your profile spreads before you ever click anything, and the consequences can multiply. Permissions are the on-ramps for data: location, contacts, camera, microphone, photos. Each opens new visibility into your life. Some permissions are legitimate. Maps need location. Video needs a camera, but many apps request broader access than necessary. That scope creep creates raw material for profiling. In the next scene, we'll break down what common permissions actually reveal about you. Location data reveals routines: where you sleep, work, pray, or get medical care. Frequent overnight coordinates outline a home. Repeated daytime points map a job. Proximity logs show whom you meet. That alone builds sensitive narratives. Combine location trails across apps and you get a detailed life map. Later, we'll show exact settings that limit location leaks without breaking core app features. Contacts and sensors add social context. Access to your contacts creates a social graph. Camera and photos expose faces, documents, and EXIF coordinates. Microphone access can capture private audio or metadata. Even motion sensors hint at identity and behavior. Each permission alone is risky. Together, they feed predictive profiles that infer health, beliefs, or relationships. Next, I'll explain the single identifier that connects your apps: the advertising ID. Advertising IDs, IDFA on iOS, AAID on Android, are the glue for cross-app tracking. Ad networks use these resettable identifiers to stitch activity across apps into a single profile. You can reset or limit them, but apps and platforms vary in how well they respect those choices. The good news: mobile OS controls can reduce this cross-app linking. Up next, real lawsuits and settlements that show these practices in action. Regulators have stepped in repeatedly. Health apps like Flow and GoodRx faced FTC action for sharing sensitive health signals. Counseling services were sanctioned for leaking therapy usage. These cases prove the risk isn't hypothetical. When apps leak medical or sexual health information, consequences are real. Enforcement helped some users, but it didn't stop the underlying adtech incentives. So, if big names slipped, what should you assume about smaller apps? We'll answer that next. Location resale has been exposed too. Weather and travel apps once sent precise GPS trails to middlemen. Journalists found entire days of movement leaked for millions. Location data companies have sold trajectories that reveal visits to clinics and places of worship. Those details can harm safety and dignity. After that expose, many apps updated policies, but updates don't guarantee every SDK stopped sharing. Next, how social and web trackers widen the leak beyond apps. Web pixels and social trackers follow you off the app too. A pixel installed on a hospital webpage once transmitted sensitive terms back to a social network. Your clicks, form entries, and searches become signals picked up by trackers embedded across sites and apps. That multiplies profiling power. So even when you close an app, the web ecosystem continues to gather context. Here comes a short, mid-video recap to lock the essentials in place. Before you install, run a 60-second privacy check. Scan the App Store listing for developer name and country. Read the app privacy label. Search for reviews or tracker scans from Exodus Privacy or App Census. Ask whether a paid or open-source alternative exists. That short check often reveals whether the app's business model depends on selling your life. Next, I'll walk through precise permission settings to lock down leaks. Set permissions to deny by default. Grant only while using. Location and choose approximate location when possible. Set camera and mic to ask every time. Limit photo access to selected images. Turn off background location and background refresh for non-essential apps. Those changes stop constant streams of telemetry while keeping core features intact. Next, we'll cover system tools on iOS and Android that enforce these limits centrally. Use built-in OS tools. On iOS, toggle off Allow apps to request to track. And review app privacy labels. On Android, open the Permission Manager and the Privacy Dashboard to see recent sensor access. Reset or disable advertising IDs in your device settings. These system controls force apps to ask properly and give you visibility when they access sensitive sensors. Next, learn network and app-level tools that block trackers more aggressively. Add network-level shields. Use a privacy DNS like NextDNS or Quad9 to block known trackers. Install content blockers such as OneBlocker or Lockdown on iOS, and use Brave or Firefox Focus for browsing. DuckDuckGo's Android app tracking protection can block many in-app trackers. Remember, VPNs hide your IP, but they don't stop in-app SDKs from sending data. Know each tool's limits so you have realistic protection. Prefer healthier business models when possible. Pay for apps you rely on. Choose subscription services or one-time purchases instead of ad-supported versions. Open-source projects on F-Droid avoid adtech by design. Signal and other privacy-preserving services rely on donations or subscriptions. Your wallet signals what behavior you reward. When ethical developers win market share, the incentive to surveil weakens. Next, a quick checklist when you absolutely must use a free app you don't trust. If a free app is unavoidable, follow this checklist. Create an app-only email alias. Deny all permissions on install. Grant only what's needed during use. Turn off background refresh and location. Reset your advertising ID and use a privacy browser for external links. Log out when not using the app and avoid linking social accounts. 5 minutes of setup and a periodic audit dramatically shrink passive data leakage. Next, we'll talk about kids and extra caution. Kids. Apps need special care. Children's data is highly sensitive and commercially tempting. Many kids' apps have embedded trackers and aggressive ads. Prefer subscription or curated apps with no third-party tracking. Use parental controls to limit permissions and purchases. Learn copyrights and how to report violations. If an app markets to kids but won't clearly explain how data is handled, treat that as a red flag and consider safer alternatives. Regulation helps. But it's patchy. Europe's GDPR and California's CCPA/CPRA grant rights and require notice. The FTC pursues clear violations and dark patterns. Still, laws lag behind adtech speed and global data flows. Enforcement reduces harms sometimes, but doesn't fix systemic incentives. That means your individual choices still matter. In the next scene, I'll answer common viewer questions about mic access, VPNs, and deleting apps. FAQs. Can apps listen through the mic? Only if you grant access, but you should set the mic to ask every time. Do VPNs stop app tracking? No. VPNs hide IPs, but don't stop app SDKs from sending data. Is deleting an app enough? Deleting halts new collection, but does not remove past data. Request deletion from the company. Which permissions to always deny? Background location, blanket microphone access, and overly broad contact access, unless the app truly needs them. The bottom line, free apps deliver real utility, but they often monetize by turning behavior into targeted profiles. Surveillance is baked into the adtech ecosystem, not just a few bad actors. Your choices, permission settings, paid alternatives, and privacy tools change how much of your life becomes tradable. Take small, consistent actions and favor services that respect user privacy. Now, a final quick action list you can use right after this video. Action list. Run a 60-second privacy check before installing. Deny non-essential permissions. Reset ad IDs. Install a privacy DNS or blocker. Favor paid or open-source apps. And audit kid apps closely. Bookmark Exodus Privacy and App Census for tracker scans. Do these steps monthly. A little maintenance reduces data leakage dramatically and protects identity, pricing fairness, and personal safety. If you want, I'll link trusted resources below so you can start now. Privacy isn't perfect or absolute, but it's about control and context. The adtech economy rewards surveillance. Your wallet and settings reward restraint. Push for better defaults, support transparency, and choose services that minimize tracking. Small choices compound into real change when millions act together. If you want a printable checklist or a walkthrough for your device, say so in the comments. I'll make a follow-up tutorial. If this helped, like the video and subscribe for a practical privacy tutorial. Comment which app you want a privacy walkthrough for, and I'll cover it next.